said that they would not be increasing the prices of fuel, if anything at all. So don't you think that's in line with what you're saying?
That's subsidy itself, because you said, NNPC said that the price is now determined by the market. You now came on board again and said you will not increase. At what value? Who is now paying the balance? Who is supporting who is cushioning it? So that's why I'm saying that it's as if they have eroded all the plans, because you are saying you want to take it that demand and supply will take effect, but now you are coming. But for me, if you ask me, I think it's premature for Nigeria to say they want to remove subsidy. It's also premature for Nigeria to say let us leave dollar to float, naira dollar to float. It's not possible, like shock absorber, because there's no way the market will not want to go negative. So you must always have things to do. Now, imagine if Dangote refinery is working, Bua refinery is working, Port Harcourt refinery is working, these three refineries working. Do you know the capacity of the foreign exchange that would have earned for us? Let me even shock you further. Do you know that the cost of fuel that we are buying is about 27% transport increase? So 27% of that transport that we're using to take it from abroad down to Nigeria to sell, remove it from 617, you'll be having around 400 and something, let alone having our own refined in Nigeria. So I expect them to have put some things in place. You don't just come. People will say that yes, Buhari said the subsidy regime will end by a month after, like by June. That's not. You can also go to National Assembly and said, I want to approve another level of supplementary budget, because now you could see that the 1 trillion that, according to President Tinubu, that they rake in cannot quantify the suffering of Nigerians. Tell me, except a government official who does not buy fuel for his pocket, or does not buy vehicle, or does not buy item, that will tell me that he's not feeling this impact. So apparently the only subsidy,
these monies that you said about $1 trillion that has been recouped from subsidy removal,
right?
What can the government do to show the people that, okay, because we have saved this money from this, we are using it to alleviate? Because one excuse that could be made for the government is, okay, the policy had to be money to be able to find a way to put all of these palliatives in place so that your lives are easier. Right. What can they do with these funds?
Well, I think,
because I don't think 1 trillion naira is too little to actually start to do something.
Right. The fact is that any policy you are doing that make people to worse off compared to people that benefit is not a good policy. Now, President Tinubu, to be fair with me, has came out and said 75 manufacturing sector is going to have 75 billion naira. So MSME, farming. The thing is this: those things are not the way it is. Remember, President Jonathan during his time have what we call subsidy removal. You win. You remember, you win.
Yeah.
So what is the impact of you win even up to now? You also remember that even the robust one that President Buhari came with, NSIP that have Empower, Jeep, that have a lot of things, and Koborowa. What has it reflected? So it simply means we have structural problem, not trying to maybe do kind of palliative, not structural adjustment itself. So you have to do something that will engender long-term development. That's why I was saying that I was expecting when President Tinubu came on board, you will say this is my short-term plan. What is short-term plan? Okay, let's remove subsidy, right? When we remove subsidy, let there be modular refinery, let there be increment in salary, let there be CNG. Tell private owners of vehicle that if for you it's 250, for commercial with 100,000 now you can convert your vehicle. How many taxi drivers would have gone to do that? So I was expecting a medium-term plan that will say is Port Harcourt refinery. That's our medium-term plan. What's the long-term plan? Maybe we'll have to start all over to build another refinery. These are the things that I expect them to put in place. But everything just, the two variables just got removed, and I'm sure they are also feeling it, because there is a true statement that I want to hold them for. They said, if need be, we will still intervene. What's the meaning of that? So when you say if need be, that means you are still ready to still come in terms of subsidy. So for me, that palliative cannot solve the problem. I must tell you, because
not even on the short term.
I must tell you that even look at President Muhammadu Buhari. He even institutionalized poverty reduction program in the humanitarian disaster affairs ministry. For you to institutionalize it and it does not really that means we have to look at the fundamental and what is the fundamental problem honestly, the fundamental problem is refinery and production. That's what will take us from where we are.
What would you say is the challenge that would be stopping this solution that you brought? Because so far, I want to believe that the government has, they have the right advisors that would know that this is a solution that they should be looking at. What would you say is the challenge that is stopping them from looking at this?
I think for now, I will let you know that I think the cabinet formation is another problem, because you see that a lot of things are coming together and there is no minister to really handle them. Because look at the issue of ECOWAS. It shouldn't have bothered the president so much. Minister of Foreign Affairs would have taken care of that to an extent and be briefing the president. The issue of economics, the Minister of Finance would have been trying to fix things. Agriculture would have go ahead to do so. I was expecting them today to at least bring about that, so that at least they will start working and hit the ground run. I think that's another challenge that
for a president who on his inaugural speech started by saying want to hit the ground running, wouldn't one expect that he already had all of these things sorted out, since he was vying for a position of presidency. He was very he was positive that he was going to be the president. Now he is the president. Wouldn't it is what he's doing not showing that he was a little ill prepared for something that he wanted so badly?
This is governance. So it is when you are on that seat, you now discover a lot of things need to be attended to. It's quite not easy.
I'm talking about the cabinet formation.
Yes,
now.
It's quite not. Even for me, I even argue that since February that he emerged as the president-elect, I expect him to have fixed those things. But a lot of things came into play: political economy, political interest, intrigues. A lot of things will come, and he has to still get it together to have one Nigeria. So for me, I think let's even allow that. Let's agree that now it is the way it is now. Anything that made them not to announce that this week, that shows that it's from the way we even saw the number of ministers. We have 48. Maybe let's assume that 45 is cleared. For the ministry we have so far, that is too high a number for them. So perhaps they want to restructure and create another ministry, because that's quite.
Is that the immediate? Now there's a problem, there's a concern, this has come up in a lot of discussions. There's a concern of the current administration not having not getting their priorities right, considering you came in and then the first thing you did was to roll out policies that have increased the hardship of the people. Now this is something the people are feeling head on. Don't you think that the same speed that was used in putting all these policies out should be the same speed that should be used in trying to figure out a way to alleviate the sufferings of the people? Because there's something they say about people being hungry and how far they can take it. We already saw it happening in Adamawa State,
yes, Adamawa.
and that was a warning. So don't you think that do you think the priorities of the government is actually in the right place?
You recall when we started this conversation, I told you that most of the policy that they roll out was premature in the sense that they don't factor a lot of things before it's actually come on board. And you could see that we don't even have a substantive CBN governor. He's still acting CBN governor. So for me, I think they don't actually get that priority right, and they seem not to be creative as expected. There's sometimes that you expect government to hit the ground running. Like he even said, "Don't pity me. I actually applied for this job." So I was thinking they should do more. So, but as it is now, at this point in time, we need to look at way forward. So the way forward is to quickly constitute the cabinet and let the cabinet start doing something, because I must tell you, we must go beyond poverty reduction let's even chronicle it from even during Obasanjo era. Obasanjo also came with NAPEP. So what are the gains? The only thing I think we are not getting right from Buhari up to now is that we used to have what we call a national plan. We have 2021 to 2025. I don't think any state governor key into it. I don't think any private sector take to it. But you will recall during Obasanjo, there's what you call NEEDS, National Empowerment Program Strategy, which is called NEEDS. So at federal level, it is called NEEDS. At state level, it's called SEED. At local level, it's called LEADS. You see that he tried to galvanize and take everybody along. So for now, the major thing that every government must do, which I think Tinubu should start doing now, is to know how to carry all the stakeholders along in this policy. If not, those policy will likely not work. When they even say they roll out palliative, I was listening to look at the agency that's going to handle the palliative. You recall that the wing was handled by Ministry of Finance. You know, the NSIP was later domesticated in the Ministry of Humanitarian. Who actually will call this? You know, and he also talked about 500,000 acres
of land.
And I look at it true that things were not think through very well. You know why? Who owns the land? Is it federal government or state? It will take you like a year, 2 years to even get approval from state, and that state also.
Even as the federal government.
Pardon?
Even as the federal government.
Yes, state own the land. It's not the federal government.
Well, I mean, considering I always say this on most of the conversations I have on this show here. Why do we in Nigeria have a problem